Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we're going to talk about Kingdom 363 and how another kingdom is apparently sending players to this kingdom under the bare minimum cap in order to then raise the power level of said accounts to inflate their kingdom power, factoring in to giving them a higher kingdom KVK matchmaking for their power that they would register with, and also to inflate their migration. Is it serious? Is it not serious? And also, keep in mind, this is not the first time that this has happened. I'm going to show you some screenshots. We're going to show you who's doing it. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it all together and how this impacts into a future update that is going to come that hopefully will solve these potential challenges and hurdles that some kingdoms have faced. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. Thank you. And if you don't, I'll find you. Okay, threats out of the way. Let me show you the screenshots. Who's doing this to SSG's new rebuild kingdom in 363, as we could see here, going in, taking a look at some power. And now let's go ahead and switch gears. And I warn you, it might get a little intense. So basically, RFF is doing this to them right now. Now, RFF is in Kingdom 283. And so I don't know how many characters have been sent over. We'll get to that in a moment because I actually reached out to Tutran, who's, I believe, one of the co-leads there for RFF, just to ask and say, hey, I heard about this. Is it true? But let's go through some screens real quick. So Tutran says, if he is quiet, then fine. If he wants to counterattack, I will send 50 accounts to visit his house. Again, I'm very much a fan of having fuller screenshots, right? So it's not just, potentially taken out of context. But let's continue. Next one, we got like the word RFF attached to its beak. We got it just said that if you release your farm account at 363, you are living dirty. I don't know what that means. I accept. Okay. Dirty to live. We got if you do it right by the game mechanics, there's nothing dirty about it. Top 1 Korea is still dirty. What? Clear, I am number 2. It's double standard. Message me on Discord. I'll send it straight to 363. What are you afraid of? Right. The process is to clear the farm to 14.9, which basically means under 15 mil. Then you go to then you go to 363, you migrate, and then you push it beyond 15 mil, right? And then someone says, they say it's toxic or something. Why do you care? I will do whatever is good for this kingdom. And then the last one is, F Sakato SSG. Okay, so again, it's getting slightly intense now. And I want to point out that screenshot that I showed you was posted on the official COD Discord and is still active on the COD memes channel as of recording this. So, okay. Now let me tell you what Tutran had told me. So I reached out. Tutran said that it was only 2 to 3 accounts or characters that were sent over. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. That's what was said when I had asked. And apparently that there's just not really friendly relationships between the two kingdoms / two alliances. So after seeing that, what are my thoughts on this? Well, some of you may remember once upon a time, I think this happened in TC's kingdom, the Continental. I can't remember if it was 47 or 57, something give or take. And I remember that there was, if I'm remembering the kingdom and the alliance names correctly, there was basically, and this is just one of the more prominent situations I remember covering, where there was, and this was before Home Kingdom, right? So again, just to give you some historical reference, it was a while ago, number of seasons ago. And so at that time, there was an alliance from a kingdom that migrated to another kingdom just so they could screw over their migration cap or slots. And then their plan was, well, they're in the kingdom now, so now they're just going to start attacking the alliance for the kingdom they joined. And so talk about like really ultimately screwing you. I mean, that's basically a kind of vigilante group, right? It's like you join this kingdom, you take up their migration slots, and then instead of contributing to that kingdom, your plan is just civil warred up. I mean, that's kind of like the ultimate, like I am just in there Like that's just licking the finger, putting it in your other in that person's food, and just my germing it, right? It had to have sucked. And so obviously it is not as bad now because of some of the restrictions and migration limitations that are in place currently. But it doesn't mean that you still cannot technically go and do that and inflate a kingdom's power by arguably however much you could, depending on the amount of characters you could move over, and if people are willing to spend money on those characters, maybe inflate their power or just actively play them, even if you had all those characters join an alliance after moving over. But again, you're also losing those potential farms. I mean, again, is it something that's really going to be worthwhile doing? I kind of feel like it's a low percentage thing. If it was really that bad, we would be hearing about a lot more stories in kingdoms of this happening at a much higher rate and volume, and it's not. But is it something that can still inflate the kingdom power? Can it still raise the power up to where maybe if you move over a couple farms, that could take the place of 1 or 2 players? Yeah, you could. And I think that's the challenge right now is when we think about where migration is, the ability for the king or queen in the kingdom, and how this is something that I know at least myself and a number of others have been consistently advocating for, on how we just had needed to have a pure accept deny system, and that it would just solve a number of challenges. And it will once it is here. It is not currently. But I think this is one of those things that it will solve, because this is something that kingdoms can run into. And I have to imagine that it would be one thing if this was happening in a non-rebuild kingdom and your kingdom still had some fat that still needed to be trimmed. But this is something that you are doing in a kingdom that the group that's there sought out specifically because it was very lean, or as lean as could be based on the available choices at that time where they could migrate. And then it almost, you know what it kind of feels like? It feels like you're trying to 100% clear a game, and you start running into bugs and things that are delaying that, or something happens and you mess up and you're not able to like min max your character to the most ideal state in a case where then you will go and continue to do your 100% clear. It kind of feels like that. It's like choosing the wrong path in Mass Effect, right? Or like going down one storyline that just sets you back a little bit or changes the end game for you because you chose this over something else that you probably should have chosen, whatever it may be. That probably is the best comparison I can give. Because now the kingdom isn't at its most optimal amount of lean, right? Or the leanest that it could be. And so that is where I hope that once the update drops, for having every player needing to apply and then every player needing to get accepted and denied because we know what's coming, that it's going to correct and fix not only this, but any other potential kind of loophole or gray area that can be taken advantage of. Because as I said, I can only imagine if somebody really had like some just really kind of messed up intent, or they just want to take it to the next level, who's to say that they don't just move over, right? I mean, who's to say that if Nephisto was still playing, or somebody that just wanted to spend a bunch of money doesn't just move over some characters, spend a bunch of money on them, and just have like, 500 mil plus accounts that they just wanted to go and screw over, right? Which is just kind of like that FU money. I mean, it could happen. Now, is it likely to happen? Yeah, it's not, but it could. And that's the challenge that any kingdom faces right at this point. So yeah, again, I just think the storyline is interesting. Do I think that it's as bad as maybe some of the screenshots are making it out to me? Probably not. But is it something that SSG has had happen to them from RFF sending however many number of characters over? Yeah, they have. So I'd love to know your thoughts. Have you been in a kingdom where this has happened to you? Have you had something similar to this happen to you? Do you just think to yourself, okay, well, this is like rivalry just taken to the next level? Do you think, man, this would suck if it was my kingdom and this was happening to me? Does this make you also think about the fact that, hey, it would have been great if we had some kind of pure accept deny system in the game for kingdoms to have that autonomy way earlier, and then we wouldn't potentially be running into these situations and scenarios that can occur? Or if you were in a position where you could do this yourself and send characters to kingdoms, would you? And would you just not feel anything bad about it? Like, you're just like, dude, it's part of the game. I can do it. Sucks to suck. Let me know what you think in the comments below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.